So Dr. Hawley here again, and we are assessing our patient Jill, and we are looking at, this time, her eyes, her nose, and her ears. So we're going to start first by inspecting. We're inspecting the outside of her eyes, so we're looking for symmetry. They are symmetric on her face. We're looking at her eyebrows and her eyelashes and her eyelids, and so the hair distribution on her eyebrows and her eyelashes are evenly distributed. They are the same color as her hair. Her eyelids are nice and smooth. They don't have any lesions on them. And her lids, when she blinks, they can close fully. Can you shut your eyes? And there's no openings left over. So all that looks good. So we're gonna look at the structures on the inside of her eye. So the white part's called the sclera, and it looks nice and clear and white. We are looking at the iris, and it is round and it's a green color. And the pupil is symmetric in the center of the eye. I'm gonna just pull down right here. Her conjunctiva is nice and pink and moist on both of her eyes. And so I think that is all the structures of the eyes. Now with the eyes come a lot of tests. So assess the structures first, and then we'll kind of look at your test. The only other structure that I did forget to look at is the cornea. So the cornea, you have to look from the side. So you take your little pen light and just get your patient to look straight ahead. And we're looking,
what am I looking at? Okay, never mind.
you got it. We're looking straight at the side and just making sure that on the kind of the front of her eye right there, we don't see any haziness, any lesions or anything like that. So we've looked at the cornea on that side. Now I'm gonna look at the cornea on this side. And they're both nice and clear. So while we're looking at the cornea, we're going to do the corneal reflex test. So I'm going to shine this right at the bridge of her nose. Just look straight ahead, and this light should shine and hit at the same spot on both of her eyes, and that just shows me that her corneas are symmetric. So that's our first test done. Okay, so another test that we have to do is looking at your movement of your eyes to make sure your eyes can move appropriately. So I'm going to use my pen light, and if you'll just kind of look right here and just follow my pen light with your eyes, but not your head. Okay, so we're going to go up, we're going to go over, and we're going to go down this side, over, and up. Okay, and so that is cranial nerves 3, 4, and 6. And so that is, we call them the EOMs, and so that's the movement of the eyes. I'm going to look at her pupils and see how her pupils constrict to light. So the first time I look at her pupils, I'm going to shine this light into this eye, and I'm going to look at this eye. The second time I look at her pupils, I'm going to shine my light into this eye, and I'm going to look at this eye, because whatever this eye does, this eye should also do. It's called consensual reaction. So I'm going to show you. So we're looking here first. We're looking at this pupil, and it got a little bit smaller. Now this time I'm going to shine my light in here and see how that one got smaller too. Okay, so now we're going to do the same thing. So the first time I shine my light in, I'm going to look here, let her blink for a second, and the second time I shine my light in, I'm going to look here. Okay, so this is just a quick in and out on the eyes. We're not meant to leave it there and blind your patient. So look right here at the tip. We are going to test what's called accommodation. So I'm going to look at her pupils and kind of see what size they are now. And then I want her to look at the wall far away. And we should see her pupils kind of get a little bit, the pupil size should change. So they actually got a little bit bigger, so that way she can see an object that's far away. So that's accommodation. So we'll do it one more time. So look here first, and then look at the wall far away. Okay, so that, when I checked her pupil size, when I checked for consensual reaction, and when I checked for accommodation, is all checking for cranial nerve 3. When we chart that, we usually write the word Perla, because her pupils are equal, round, reactive to light, and accommodation. Okay, let's do 2 more tests, I do believe, with the eyes. So the first one is just checking her vision. There's 2 ways to check it. You can check it using a Snellen chart, or you can check it using a Rosenbaum chart. So Rosenbaum just has the letters written on it. They hold it about 14 inches away from them. If you do not have one of these at your house, you can grab just any old magazine newspaper, something with a little bit of a smaller print, you know. And so get them to hold it about 14 inches away and check it. So just since y'all will probably be using a magazine, we're gonna use a magazine today. Let's see what a magazine has to say. So you're gonna hold this about 14 inches away. I want you to cover this left eye for me, and you're gonna read it with your right eye. You can just start right here. Let's go somewhere.
UMMC is one of only 2 telehealth centers of excellence nationwide.
Okay, very good. Now you wanna make sure you're looking at it with them, so that way they can, you know that they're reading the right thing. So let's read it with the other eye.
UMMC is one of only 2 telehealth centers of excellence nationwide.
Okay, very good. All right, so the thing about when you use a magazine, it doesn't tell you if they're 2020, 2030, 2040, those kind of things. So I am gonna do it with the actual Rosenbaum to actually give her an actual reading on your vision. So when we do this, you can either get them to start with the largest number, or you can say, what is the largest number that you can read, and start there. So if you'll cover your left eye and start at the largest line that you can read.
It's the bottom, 428739.
I am thoroughly impressed. Okay, switch.
That's my contacts. Okay, 428739.
Okay, so if she can read that bottom line, then it tells me over here that she has 20/20 vision in her right and left eye. Then we would get her to check it with both eyes as well. You do have in contacts, so when I write that in her charting, I would say 20/20 with corrective lenses. Okay, so that is looking at your vision. Now we need to check your peripheral vision. So for peripheral vision, we just want to make sure that if your patient is looking straight ahead, that they can see things coming in their periphery. So you get up close and personal with your patient. Okay, so I want you to cover this eye for me, and I'm going to cover this same eye, and then I want you to tell me if you can see my hand.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, we'll switch. We're going to come over here.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay, very good. All right, so what I was doing is I was moving my hand in 3 directions, kind of the same way we do those movements to check her eye movements, but I'm also using the number 2 because when I check her vision using the Rosenbaum and I check her vision for peripheral vision, both of those are testing cranial nerve too. Okay, and I think that is it for the eyes. So let's move real quick to the nose and the ears. So looking at your nose on your face, it is symmetrical. In the center of your face. Your septum is midline. I'm gonna just feel it. Anything tender? Okay, so there's no tenderness, and when I'm looking, I don't see any foreign objects. It looks nice and patent, and I don't see any discharge coming out. So I'm gonna get you just to lean your head back just a little bit. I'm just gonna touch right here at the edge of her nose and look inside. And looking at the septum is intact. The nares are nice and pink and moist with no discharge or noted in there. Can you occlude one nostril and sniff and do the same thing on the other side? Okay, and so her nares are patent. Okay, any trouble with your nose?
No.
Okay, so I'm gonna move on to your ears. So when we're looking at our ears, we are looking at, again, the symmetry on the face. They are nice and in line with the eyes. They are appropriate size for her body structure. When looking at the color, so the color is evenly distributed and with the same skin tone as the rest of her face. I'm gonna feel any of this here or around any of that tender. Okay, I don't feel any abnormalities. I don't see any lesions. I'm not going to look inside the ear, but just looking right at the external canal. I don't see any discharge on that side, and I don't see any discharge on that side. So I'm going to perform now the whisper test. So with this test, I'm going to say 3 one-syllable words, and I'm going to get you to repeat them. Okay, so would you occlude this ear? And I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to say
1, 2, 3.
Okay, and I'm gonna come over here and do the same.
Dog, cat, dog.
Yes. Okay, All right, and so that is cranial nerve 8 is intact with the whisper test. The other thing I want to add to this, that you would also add in with the throat, but I did not put it on that video, is to get your patient to swallow. That's the last cranial nerve that we need to check. So will you swallow for me? Did you have any difficulty swallowing?
No.
Okay, so when we check for swallowing, we're checking, that's cranial nerve 5, 7, 9, 10, 11, and 12 all together. All those work together to help your patient swallow. So that's it.